Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Life Interview. Today I have Anya. Hi, Anya. How are you?
Hey, thank you for having me.
No, it's a pleasure to have you on. And yeah, I'm really excited to have a chat with you because when I first met you, and I think was it a couple of years ago now?
Probably, yeah, something like
Yeah,
that.
we had such a good conversation. So I was like, you've definitely got a story to tell. So that's why
It's
I wanted
Thank
to
you.
get
Thank
you
you
on.
for reaching out.
No, it's all good. So yeah, we'll jump straight into it, and yeah, keen on finding out more about you. And the first area I always go into is your childhood. So tell me a little bit more about your childhood. Where did you grow up? What did you do
Um,
there?
I grew up in Paris. You can hear from the accent, I'm French. Like, I can't hide it. Everyone will know quickly. I say one word and everyone knows. So I grew up in Paris. I was pretty lucky. I grew up in like the northern part of Paris. I went to school in the center of Paris, so in the middle of like kind of the art and like yeah, art district, I say, in a way. Like, there was a lot of culture around, a lot of things to see. So I grew up there. My parents are both like into art. So like my dad was a poet and like yeah, in Algeria he writes songs, and he was a radio host and did all sort of things, so he knows a lot of people. And
Wow.
my mom studied art history, so they all like pretty much put me in there. I was but yeah, living in Paris, like obviously there was a lot of museums to see, a lot of people, like places to discover and all that. So yeah, I grew up in Paris. It was great.
That's really cool. So were you in like the hustle and bustle of the center? Were you like right in it?
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm in the northern part of Well, my parents are still there. Where I grew
Mm.
up was the northern part of Paris, but then I went to school in the really center of Paris. So yeah, a
Wow.
lot of hustle and bustle and a lot of things happening. It's a really busy city.
It
um,
is.
Sydney is great and busy and everything, but there is not as many people. So I love that kind of in between. But yeah, Paris is busy.
Yeah.
Great, I love it. I loved it. I loved it growing up. But yeah, it's clearly really, really busy.
Yeah, wow, okay. And your parents, you mentioned a little bit about them already. So did you get on well with them? Were
Yeah,
they
yeah, yeah.
emotional?
But I still go along really well with them. Like, they are, um, well, they have just me. Like, I'm an only child, and
Okay.
they really wanted a kid and all that. So they did everything. So I have as many opportunity as I could. So that was
Mm.
amazing. They were like normal people. Like, they were not poor, but they were not rich. Like, they were just normal. But they decided to put me through private school in
Oh,
France, which is not as expensive as it is in Australia. Let's be clear. In
yeah.
France, like, school is free if you go to public school, and then it's a bit more expensive if you go to private, but it's still doable. So they decided to put money aside so I can have the best education possible. They made me try like all sort of activities. They made me do a lot of things. They were around a lot. My mom stopped working for a while when she got me, so she could really focus on me. So I was really like the center of my little bubble universe with my
Wow.
friends. So everything was really good. I still get along with them really well. They got me a little bit older in life as well. So my dad had me when he was almost 50, and my
Okay.
mom was 36. So they had their full life before. They don't feel like they're older. Like, my dad is quite funny. Like, he celebrated his 80th birthday like 2 years ago, and I called him the next morning with time difference, and I was like, "Happy birthday!" I was like, "How was your party and everything?" He was like, "Oh, I came home at like 5 a.m." and I was like, like, do
That's
you like, why did you
crazy.
came home that late for my 30th birthday? Like, what's going on?
God.
Um, so they are older, but no, they don't feel old. We always had a lot of people around. They are in that really creative space. Like, we've
Mm.
always had a lot going on. I was going to concert when I was a kid where my dad was hosting and presenting, and I didn't understand anything because it was in Kabyle, which is the language he speaks from Algeria. which I
Okay.
don't speak. So they were taking me there with my French mom, and we didn't understand anything, but we could listen to the music. Um,
Oh, wow. When did your dad immigrate over to Paris?
Uh, before a few years before I was born, so I think like 35 years ago, something like that. But then
Yeah.
he was going back and forth before that, because basically he got when he was living in Algeria, he got one of his songs that he wrote for someone that got quite famous, and then from there he started going back and forth between France and Algeria, because his
Ah,
song was on radio and stuff, and like he didn't really plan to come and live in France, but he was going back and forth, and then he met my mom, and he decided to come live in Paris with her,
wow.
basically.
Okay.
Short story.
Nice. Yeah.
But
And
yeah.
because you said before we started this that your dad doesn't want to come over here. Why does he not want to come over?
So my dad is stubborn. We are quite stubborn in the family,
Hmm.
but he doesn't want to travel to countries where he doesn't speak the language. So
Oh,
Australia doesn't work because he doesn't speak English. He's perfectly happy with traveling. Like I told him, oh, we can meet in New Caledonia, because I was like, he's never gonna say yes to that. Like if it's the travel issue, like New Caledonia, is gonna be too far. I was like, oh yeah, no, that seems cool. I'm like,
oh wow.
so it's really not the travel that is the issue. He actually travels quite a lot still now, because he retired, and since he's retired, he went back to a lot of speaking engagements and stuff like that. So he still goes around, like he travels quite a lot. He went to Canada because Canada is fine; they can speak French.
Yeah.
um, he goes outside of France, but just not to non-French, yeah, not French or Arabic-speaking
Oh,
countries, which means Australia is not on the list. Still
yeah.
trying, but I don't think it's gonna
Uh,
happen.
you do you go back quite a bit?
Yeah, I go back. I well after COVID, obviously, because with the few years of COVID, I didn't go back for like 4 years. I don't really remember. Probably 4 years.
Yeah.
But then since then, I go every year. I keep saying that I want to spread it out to every 2 years, but every time I say that, there is like a wedding or something I have to get
Yeah.
to, and then I go back. So yeah, about every year at the moment.
Yeah. Do you ever get
Just
homesick?
not really. I miss the food.
Yeah.
But I do make a lot of food here, and I am lucky enough to work with a lot of French restaurants here, so I still have that. But
Nice.
I have a really tiny family. It's mostly my parents, and I talk to them and everything. So I
Ah,
talk to my friends. It's fine. Like I feel way better here. So I think I feel kind of homesick when I go to France and I stay too long, and then I'm like, oh, actually, I want to get back home. It's the other
yeah.
way around, which is a bit
Oh,
weird.
okay. Yeah, nice. So I think it's coming up to it will be 3 years because I did a period where I was just going back quite a lot, and I was like, I need a break. I don't want to go back to the UK. And then now coming up to 3 years, I'm starting to. I'm like, oh, I really do miss being. But I think once you go, you kind of scratch that itch, and then you feel okay again.
Yeah, I think it's because we are going so often, and I kind of didn't plan to go so often that I don't miss it.
Yeah,
If it was like 3 years, 4 years or something, it would probably be a bit different. But
yeah,
because I'm really going all the time, like not all the time, but like once a year, it's quite a lot. Well, like, you know what I mean. So I don't miss it really.
yeah.
That's why I kind of want to spread it out, because going to France, it's actually kind of taking up my holidays, but in the meantime it's not really a holiday, if that makes sense. Like I
Mm,
think any expat gets that feeling that when you go back to your own country, it's really nice because you see your friends, your family, you discover, like you discover, not really discover, but you rediscover places and everything, so it's nice, but you don't, like, you've lived there, so it's not really a holiday, and you're super busy because you obviously you don't stay that long, and you have so many
mm,
people to see and so many things to do, so it never feels like a proper like holiday and traveling and all of that.
yeah,
So that's why I want to kind of find that in between, where like one year we travel somewhere else, and then one year we go to France and see friends, family, and
that's nice.
do all that. I haven't managed that yet. I wasn't supposed to go back to France this year, and we've just been told that we have a wedding in September. So I'm like, hey, here
Ah.
we go. We're going back. So
Nice. Well, good. And it's good that you've got the flexibility to do that because I know some
yeah,
people kind of they don't. So yeah, it's good. It's good that you have that flexibility.
yeah, I can work from anywhere, so that makes it easier.
Nice. Did you learn a lot from your parents and what you were taught as a kid? Do you still feel the same way, or was there a period in time where you felt like you weren't aligned with your parents?
I mean, we don't agree on everything. I mean, no
Mm,
one agrees on everything. But yeah, I did learn a lot from them. I learned hard work. I learned the different because I was so my parents were like normal people, and I was in a private school, so with a lot of rich kids around. So I've
yeah.
learned that like you need to work, like it's great, you need to have opportunities and everything, but you do need to work for those. So I learned the in between with them. They kind of grounded me because I was going home, wanted like some luxury bag that all my friend had, and they were like no way. um, that's not happening. Like it's so I knew what I wanted, and they told me that if I wanted to get that, like I needed to work for that for it. They've worked for everything they have, um, and I've also learned that like they always told me that if I wanted to do something, I could. Like they never told me that I needed to pick a job to just pick a job. Like they told me do whatever you feel like you could do. They were a bit worried with me sometimes, like whatever I wanted to do. They were a bit like, oh, are you certain? But like they were just like, if you want to do it, if you put your mind to it, you'll be able to do it. So that was really great growing up because I never thought that I there was anything I couldn't do. Like when I was choosing what I wanted to do, it was more like what do I like than what's sensible, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. So I think that's really good.
Yeah.
Um, Again, we don't agree on everything, like no one does, but I
Yeah.
think the overall, like we are kind of aligned. Even now, like that hasn't changed. Um, so yeah, no, have a really
Nice.
good relationship with them.
And what was school like?
I was a weird kid. I really loved school, so that's
Okay.
yeah. Yeah. Um, as I said, I went to private school, so it was a little bubble. It was a school where they highlighted all the art and literature and all those things more than they would like math and stuff. So that was interesting. That was different because
Yeah.
I was in the really center of Paris. So there was a lot of artist kids and like actually like French actors had their kids there. A lot of students ended up becoming actors. We had like fashion photographers and lots of like really artsy kind of backgrounds. So it was a bit different than a lot of other schools. I think they were quite open to us discovering what we wanted to do.
Mm.
I also met a lot of people who well, their parents were doing a lot of great things, so I was along with the ride kind of and meeting a lot of people doing that. So I think if I went to another place, I probably wouldn't have wanted to do what I did in the end. Like I think my best friend at the time was spending my whole life with her. Like we were always together, and her dad has like shops. Well, he still has them. No, she bought them from him actually,
Oh.
but like her dad had shops, and I never really thought about doing business school, but for her it was kind of obvious because she wanted to do a business school and then work in retail somehow, have a shop, have a something. So I never really thought about, but before her, I never thought about business school. I never thought about owning a company and stuff like that. Like that wasn't really a thing. So I was really lucky to have like to be surrounded by people who did so many things that changed me in a way.
Yeah.
Like made me who I am today. Because as I said, we align on a lot of things with my parents, but they are all artsy and all of that. So business school was a bit like,
Mm.
what's
Don't
going on?
you're going down the dark side.
Yeah, kind of like what's going on. But then I was studying luxury, so luxury is a form of art in a way. So that's quite that was okay.
Yeah.
But at first, when I arrived home and I was like, I want to go to business school, they were like, business school, really?
That's so
Um,
funny. Did you
so
think did you see your adult life turning out the way that it is now when you were a child?
not at all. I never thought I would leave Paris.
Mm.
That's what to start with. Even growing up, like I knew what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to work in fashion. I don't work in fashion. I know, well, I do a little bit, but not. It's not my main thing. Um, so I knew that I wanted to work in luxury. I really don't anymore. I Well, I knew I wanted to do marketing for a little while, so that hasn't changed. But I knew I wanted to be in Paris. I wanted to like have a career working in a big company. Like it was all planned. Like I was like, okay, and to do that, I need to go to business school. I study luxury management. I have an experience abroad, like somewhere, and then I come back. I have a job in one of those big companies I want to work in, and then I grow the ladder and end up like some kind of big role. That did not happen.
Mm.
I came to Australia and it all changed. I was like, actually,
Yeah.
no.
I want to discover more of that as well because I love the story. We've obviously met on a professional level, so I love the story of how you've been managed to get to the position that you're in now. But yeah, we'll save that for
Yeah, that's why
later.
I didn't say too much. I was like, that's for
So,
later.
did you have any significant people or friends or influences in your life as a kid? Who would you say was your biggest person?
Well, I think, as I said, the friends I talked about probably was a big influence because we were so different, coming from different background, and I learned a lot about about well, it's not learned a lot, I don't know, but I discovered a lot with her, like different side of things, a different perspective on things. I I Her parents were really open with me, so I could talk to them about anything. Um, I saw them work, I saw all of that. So she obviously was a big change when I was a kid.
Mm,
Um, and well, my parents, I talked about them enough. I think that they were a big influence, but I
yeah,
think that would be the main two influences I had as a kid. And then growing up, I think my partner has been a really big influence on me as well. We've been together for almost 9 years now. We met when I arrived in Australia. So
nice.
changing country was a big change, but also meeting him was a big change because we are quite different. We
Okay.
are probably opposites, really. So yeah, with him, I also changed a lot, discovered a lot. He always wanted to have a company. He always was really independent. He's doesn't like safety. Like he likes to try things and see how it goes. I'm the opposite. I like to plan things, be really safe, and like know where I'm going. So we both balance each other on that, and he has been a big influence as well. Not as a kid,
Nice.
but growing up.
That's so funny because most of the people who I've interviewed on this already have said that their partners are quite opposite. But
um,
I
there you
talk
go.
about this all the time, yeah, because I genuinely think if there's lots of different elements to it as well, but I think if you can make them work, you've just got endless amounts of learning, endless amounts of new opportunities come up because you complement each other.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like we I was going to say we don't agree on everything. We actually mostly did agree on things. Not on the most important ones, but I mean on details and stuff. Like we are quite different on a lot, but that's what makes it work in a way because yeah, he pushes me and I'm
Mm,
pushing him. Like we don't see the things the same way, and then it means that we are all growing from that. If that makes
yeah,
sense. Yeah,
yeah,
opposite
definitely.
works in
So
a way.
you had a nice. You sound like you had a nice, happy childhood.
I did. I did. I can't complain.
Yeah, nice. So when was it that you had a significant moment in your life?
Well, I mean, I think moving to Australia was a big, significant move. It was quite positive as well, but I didn't really plan it. I was supposed to come here for like 6 months, maybe a year. I was applying to school to do an ABA and yeah, MBA after my master's in France to study even more fashion and to be even more on track on what I wanted to do. I was like, it's just an in between. I'm finishing everything with my degree. Um, in January. So I kind of have like until September with the French calendar. Like I have until September to do something. I didn't have the opportunity to go abroad during my studies. So I was like, I'm going to go to Australia. It's easy. The visa is easy. It's sunny. It's summer. I'll see. I'll go. And at least I'll speak English. And then after that, I'll go back to Paris and get back on track. Um, and then I arrived here and I was like, actually, it's really nice here. Like, I really fit in. I felt at home the moment I kind of arrived because I think the way of life here matches who I am a bit more because I've always been kind of, I don't know how to say that in a weird way, like that I don't sound like really naive or something, but I'm quite like, I'm nice. I love rules. I'm really rule abiding, which in France is not a thing.
I've heard
Like in
I've heard
France,
of these protests and
yeah, in France, you say something and there will be a protest. Like people don't like rules; they see it more like suggestions in a way, like not like up to a point. Like obviously there is some that people follow, but
yeah.
it's a lot less organized. It's a lot less safe than here. I don't think any country is as safe as here, to be fair. But it's quite different. So I arrived here and I was like, oh my god, other people are like me. That's great. That's really
Yeah.
nice. So I really loved it.
Mm.
And that was also like as I said, in Paris, I was kind of like in a bubble of like from private school to business school, center of Paris, always like the same kind of friends, same kind of people I knew. And then I arrived here and I've met people from every single background possible.
Yeah.
So that kind of like it was a burst of the little bubble, but a great one. Like it was really a significant change in a way that I discovered a lot of things. I realized a lot of things. I realized that okay, there is one path I can follow, but there is so many other ones that I can go through and discover and try. And so I arrived in Melbourne at the time in summer, and then I was just planning to follow summer for the first year. I wanted to just do big cities because I'm clearly a city girl, so I was just going to do cities. And then I arrived here, and I ended up doing my farm work, which everyone was like, "No way! Like you're scared of bugs." You don't like you've never done manual work. Like what's going on? Every
Too
time I was
funny.
saying it to someone, they were looking at me like, "Nah." So it was a big change. It was interesting. Like, yeah, it was interesting. Like, I wouldn't do farm work more. Like, the 3 months were more than enough.
Yeah.
I decided that if I've done that, I can do anything. Great
Yeah.
for confidence. I was like, okay, that's done. Really, anything can be done. But
Yeah, no.
I think that was a big change for me.
Do you ever have you ever had any times where you've like had regrets for being here or felt bad for being here?
Not really. I know my parents would have loved me to be closer, that I didn't choose a place that's so far away.
Mm.
Um, and I know it can be hard for them. Like, as I said, I'm an only child, so it's always a bit tricky. And I always worried with them getting older. Like, I think that's something that's always in the back of my mind. Like, there is no one there to take care of them because I'm here.
Mm.
But other than that, other than that little worry that I'll see how that goes, can't really do anything about it. But other than that, I never had. How to say? It's not that I never had any bad experiences because there are some things that were trickier than others. I like obviously the process to become citizen is a long process. There is a lot to do and everything. But um, I was pretty lucky during that whole process, and I feel like everything happened. Well, not, yeah, that sounds cliche, but everything happens for a reason. But it all kind of worked out. Like if something didn't work out, something else worked out, and it was really good.
Mhm.
Um, Even like I was here during COVID, I couldn't go back to France. I was a bit worried in between. Like I was like, if anything happens, I'm literally stuck. Like I can't go back. If I go back, I can't come back. So
Yeah.
that was all a bit worrying, but there was nothing that was like, really full on so bad that I was like, oh no, I really miss France and I want to go back, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. So do you, This was going to be one of my questions towards the end, but I'm going to ask. I want to find out now. Do you think that like your life path is written for you, or do you think it's like a choice? Do you think that people make choices and it's not written out? You can choose what you want to do.
I think it's choices, because clearly things changed for me. I never expected that I would be here today.
Mm,
I think the choices you make gets you wherever you want to be.
mm,
If you put in the work, if you decide to do something. I meet so many people who are like, "Oh, it's impossible to stay in Australia," and I'm like, it's not true. Like, it can be hard. It can be really tricky. But if you want to do something, like if you really 100% wants to do something and you commit to it, I think you can do it.
mm.
Um, but then on the other side, I do think like if something doesn't happen, sometimes something doesn't happen, but it doesn't mean that it should have. Like, there will be other opportunities after. Like, I
Yeah.
think it's also a way of seeing things, like trying to see the positive side of it. Like, okay, it didn't happen, but there will be other opportunities.
Yeah. I think your mindset is such a powerful tool to use.
Yeah, I think if you see all the negative side of things, it makes everything harder.
Yeah.
Um, I had things I wanted and then they didn't happen. But if you ask me now if I had like a big struggle at some point in my life, I wouldn't even think about it now, because it was so long ago that, and I had so many opportunities after coming from that
Mm,
it's fine. Like, but some people just get stuck on those things and think about it every day, and then they never get over it, even
yeah.
if so many other good things happen. If that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah, yeah. So you're leading my questions really nicely. So have you had a big struggle? Have you had a big failure? Something ever happened significantly to you?
I mean, I don't know if it's a failure, but it was a setback. I Well, I'm gonna start talking a bit about what I'm doing now. That may we are jumping a bit ahead, but
Mm,
so I own a marketing agency now, and I bought it basically from the person who had it before me. So I started working in the company when it was pretty new, like it was like, a year or 2 years old, or like it was starting really to grow. Um, and it was just before COVID. So COVID happened, and I just started working there. So the owner was French. She worked with a lot of French company and everything, so it was a good match because I had experience in hospitality, I had experience in marketing, so it was a great match. We talked and everything, and from the beginning, as you know, with small businesses, there is not as much budget, but there is a lot of opportunity for growth. So
yeah.
that was kind of the whole discussion. Like, she was like, I don't like she never wanted to stay in Australia forever. So she always said, like, when I go, you will be able to take over, in a way. Like, we never discussed the actual specific of the taking over, but she was kind of like, obviously you are doing so much, you are doing everything, you are working with the clients, you are building everything. So whenever I go, on it's going to be on you. Like, you'll take over in a way, some kind of way. We never really discussed it. And then after a bit over 3 years of me working in the company, she was like, "Oh, actually, we are going back to France with my husband. You had an opportunity there." Um, and I was like, "Okay, cool," thinking that I would have some kind of management position there. I didn't know if she wanted to sell the company or keep having it, but like, developing it in France and kind of having a partnership where I would handle Australia and she would handle, like, I didn't know. And then a week before she left, she told me she got someone in to take over the company, and I was like, "What?"
Oh,
What do you mean? I was like, "So is he gonna just handle the admin and I'm handling like everything else, like all the marketing, all the clients and everything?" He was like, "No, he's taking over. He's your boss. He's gonna tell you what to do." I was like, "What?" So that was not great.
mm, wow.
So
Yeah.
that was kind of a bit setback and a bit like of a surprise. Let's say it like that. It ended up well, so that's why I'm saying, like, I think the mindset is good because it ended up going, like, working out really well for me. I ended up buying the company, so I ended up having it for myself and everything. But when that happened, it was a bit of a life reflection because I
Mm,
did so much. Like, everyone was like, "How? Why do you work that much for a company when it's not yours?" And I was like, "Well, I want to grow with it. It's a small business. I'm happy to do it." I was working so much. I built really relationship with all the clients we have. They all like ended up telling me that they wanted to work with me anyway. So whoever owned the company didn't change. So that was really good. I did something good there. But
Yeah.
I mean, I spent so much time on it that when she told me that, it was on the phone, and I was a bit like shocked. Like I was like, what's going on? What am I
Yeah. Yeah.
doing?
Wow. And how would you say, um, I'd love to find out what actually happened after that then, and how you managed to not have that boss as your boss.
So basically what happened, like she just told me that, and then she was like, we are like, he, because he was based in Melbourne, so he was coming to Sydney like 2 days after. She was like, so you are meeting him in 2 days, and I'm leaving in like 3 days. And I was like, okay, cool, great. I'm not gonna make really any decision with that. Like at first I was a bit like, am I staying, am I leaving, like what's going on, like should I stay with what's going on? And then 2 days later I met the guy who was a bit more like, you never know when you met someone for the first time, but he was a bit like, you obviously know what you're doing, so I'll focus on the admin side. I'll be a support for you, but you'll be quite independent on what you're doing. So I was like, okay, I'll give it a go. I'll see how it goes. If it doesn't work out, I'll go. I'll look for another job. I'll figure something out. Um, there is always something you can do. I was like, I'm not stuck there. If I really need money, I'll go back to hospitality, whatever. Like I'll figure something out.
Yeah.
But I'll give it a go. It was a bit of a turning point in a way. I was kind of overthinking it. I was like thinking, like I was talking it over with everyone. I was like, what am I doing? Like, what should I do? But then I was like, she did that to me, but she's leaving. It's not the guy who is coming in's fault. I don't know what's gonna happen, and I put so much time and energy in that company that I don't want to just go. I was like, I would feel really bad for the clients for things that if I left, no one would know what was going on with them, so they would kind of be left alone, not really, but I was like, I can't just go. So I was like, I'm just gonna see, and we'll see.
Mm.
And then in the end, like that guy was really not involved with the client. It was what 6 8 months that were really intense in terms of work. Like the transition wasn't smooth, but it was like we made it work.
Yeah.
Did a lot of hours, um, and then from there, it was actually like I don't think there is a point of him in Melbourne, not being able to like handle the clients and everything. He had a lot going on. He had other companies and all of that, and he was like, actually, you are doing everything. So let's just. He was like, just if you want to buy the company, you can get it. Like that would be easier because I don't think it was kind of like I don't think there is a point of me in there.
Oh
Like I
wow.
don't think I'm bringing anything to the table. So I got the company that way.
Wow.
Um, so that was just an extra in between step that was a bit messy in there
Yeah.
and a bit of stress going on with it, but it ended up with being fine. So that's why I was saying earlier, as long as you just think about the positive things, it's okay. So
Yeah.
I'm
Did
choosing
you
to remember positive, but yeah, it was a bit of
was
a
was it a big risk for you to like were you throwing in all your money?
no, no, no,
Okay.
because it would have been hard to sell it to me really, really expensive, knowing that I had all the clientele basically. So
Yeah.
that wasn't such a huge risk. I think I ended up pretty lucky in the way it turned out.
Yeah.
Not in terms of stress, but in term of like in financial term, I ended up. It probably was better for me in mental health, stress, time, hours spent, and all of that. Not that good, but
Yeah.
that's fine. There is positive and negatives to everything, so it
Yeah. Do you
was
work
okay.
really long hours? How many hours do you work?
I don't know how many hours I work, and I think I don't want to know, but I do know I do work a lot of hours. Um,
Yeah.
I worked really a lot during that transition period. So when I took over the company, I actually weirdly, contrary to everyone who take over a company, I worked less because I couldn't keep going. Like it was too much. So I just worked on making sure everything was kind of working out. Like I was like, I can't do the extra work. I'm just gonna make sure like all the clients are fine. the
Mm.
team is fine, but I'm not going to try to grow anything. I'm not going to try to put any processes in place yet. I'm just gonna try and
Manage.
figure it out, and try to take a bit of rest for myself, because I was like, otherwise I'm gonna explode. So I did the opposite from everyone. Like, everyone is like, oh, now you're working for yourself, it's fine if you work all the time. I was like, actually, it's fine if I take a break now.
Yeah.
It isn't really a break, but just doing normal hours was a break.
Yeah, I bet.
um, and then now it's been, well, it's gonna be 2 years in on the 1st of March, so it's been almost 2 years.
Oh, nice.
um, so I, like, now I'm like back into the mindset where I can, like, it's been more than a few months now, it's been like a year, but I'm back into the mindset where I can actually do the extra hours, the extra work, the extra thing. I'm working a lot on trying to find a good work-life balance. I'm learning, I'm not there
Yeah.
yet, but
Yeah.
I'm learning. um, but now I have like the mental space to be able to actually do the extra work, to actually
Yeah.
be able to get out there and try to find new clients and try to develop the business and find ideas. And it's not really finding the ideas, because I had the ideas for a while, but actually finding the time and the energy to actually work on them, and not solely work on the clients and making sure everything is fine with them, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
It was a
So
process, it was a journey.
it's quite refreshing to hear that, like, you don't necessarily need to be one, breaking the bank and throwing every single cent that you've ever earned into a business, and two, working ridiculous hours, because I think it's frightening for people who want to start a business that that's what they've been told that they have to do.
Well, so there is a lot going into that, I think, with me. First, as I said, I'm a bit of a control freak. I need to plan everything. And so I know everything I spend. I have spreadsheets with everything. I know how much I spend in a year. I know how much I need to leave. I don't spend that much, to be honest. Like, I don't, like, okay, I travel to France, but I don't live like a crazy lifestyle when I spend,
Yeah.
like, hundreds of thousands. I
You haven't
know
leaned
what
into the luxury world like you thought you were going to.
I know that words. I do have like bags and stuff, because I have them from working in that industry before, and I know a lot about it. But I don't. For me, it was like the luxury word was always for me more of like an interest, because of the quality of the work, the craftsmanship, the people behind it, more than the, like, show off kind of
The
side.
end
And
result.
so anyway, that's a side thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did work a lot when I arrived in Australia. I was working in hospitality. I was not making insane amount of money, but I was doing a lot of hours, so I
Yeah.
put a lot of money aside. Being like, okay, I arrived in Australia, I had basically nothing. Like, I had, a few $1,000, just, you know like a lot of people who travel. I finished studying. I didn't, I wasn't rich when I arrived at all, but
Yeah.
I did work a lot because I didn't like that feeling. So I
Yeah.
did a lot of hours. I saved money. And when I had the opportunity to cover the company, I knew that I didn't need to be able to pay myself straight away. I could live with the savings I had for a while. And I knew what I needed to make to be able to work, like, to get to live and work. And the other thing is, it's a service based company. So I don't have products. So I don't have a lot of investments. Like, even if I bought the company for a huge amount of money, that would have been it, because then the costs are really low, because it's a service. So if I'm by myself, there is, you know, just the softwares and stuff, but that's nothing compared
Yeah.
to if you have to buy stock and everything.
Yeah.
And even with the team, it's actually not too bad if you compare to it. Like, that's the only thing. Like, again, I don't have to have like a rent for a shop. I don't have to have like, if I compare to all the restaurant I work with, I don't have food that can go to waste and then you just waste the money. I don't have stock. I don't have anything. Like, I have, me, my all my computers and all those things,
Yeah.
and the team, but that's it. So I think that's also why it makes it easier in a way with the service.
Yeah. You seem quite driven. Have you do you ever think about like where that's come from? Do you know where that's come from?
um I think I always wanted to be independent.
Mm.
I wanted to be able to take care of myself. whatever happens. As I said, I do like safety, so I want to have a safety net. So whatever I need to do, like whatever I need to do, I'll do it just to make sure that um, yeah, I can take care of myself. Obviously,
Yeah.
I'm with my partner. He helped, like, we split everything. We are together, and if I end up not having the money to do stuff, he can take over, or like, and we spread, like, for the apartment, for like all the daily expenses. Being in a relationship makes it easier.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, I knew that I wanted to be independent and being able to do things, and I think that's what drove me since I was a kid. Like, I was just like, I don't want to struggle. My goal in life is not to be like super rich. I not really that. Like, if I end up being it, cool. But it's more like I don't want to struggle, and I'll do whatever I need to
Yeah.
not struggle. If that makes sense. So I've worked.
Yeah, I think you've got the right attitude as well. Like, imagine if you didn't build the relationships with them clients, like this might not have happened. You might not have had your
Yeah,
business.
I think that's kind of a whole discussion there is now. Like, working for someone, I think, doesn't mean that you are doing less, if that makes sense. Like, you can get invested in your work, whatever you do. Um, Even if it's not for yourself, you're still getting something out of it. You might
Yeah.
not know what it is straight away, but you'll still get something at the end. Like, if I didn't work for Bistrot Media the way I did at the beginning, when I didn't know what would happen, I clearly wouldn't be here today, owning the company. Like, if I just worked and, came to work and was like, I'm doing the bare minimum just to get paid and that's it.
Mm.
Clearly, well, my old boss would have probably done the same thing she did to me now, but the next one, I wouldn't have been able to take over. I wouldn't have been able to show that I could do it, and actually, in a way, made him think that he wasn't useful in there. Like, that
Mm.
wouldn't have happened, and the clients probably would have left if they didn't really know me, because they stayed because they wanted to work with me in the end. So they probably would have left way before if I
Mm.
didn't do everything I did. Um, and I think it works with everything. Like, when I was working back in France, I was working for luxury brands. And when I left, I knew I was going to Australia. So I was a bit like, I'm going, whatever happens. But then I came back and I still had, like, because I came back to France, to give you a bit of context. I spent my first year here, and then with my partner, we had to go back a little bit because he had some paperwork to deal with and whatever. So we spent like 7 months in France, and even during those 7 months, because I had great relationship, because I did so much when I was working there before, I had opportunities to have like short-term contracts and stuff in those companies, which I didn't end up doing because the timing was a bit off and all of that. I knew I wanted to leave, so I didn't take them. But I still, like, I think building a relationship, doing your best wherever you are, gives you so much opportunities after. Like, it's not because you work for someone else or you work in a company that you just come do your 9 to 5 and get your
Mm.
paycheck and that's it. Like, I don't know. It might be me. It might just be me. But
No, I agree. I think it doesn't matter who it is, what it is. You should have the mindset of that could eventuate into something eventually.
yeah,
So yeah, it could. You never know. Things might pay off.
you give everything you have. Well, not everything. Sometimes that might be giving too much. So maybe not everything. You give like everything you can, and
Yeah,
then from there, so many things can happen. You can have so many opportunities. If you don't, you'll never have those opportunities.
yeah,
So
for sure. Have you ever had to sacrifice anything with the big decisions that you've made?
I mean, some people, when I said I was taking over the company, were a bit weird about it. And I have some friends that, well, probably were not really friends, and just I kind of stepped away and just kind of stopped talking. Well, not really stopped, like, it wasn't a one clear thing, like we are not friends anymore, but like just kind of slowly disappeared. I was like, okay. As I said, I spend a lot of time working a lot, so I'm quite lucky that a lot of my friends still stayed there, even if they
Oh,
weren't really seeing me too much. And I was like, I'm alive, but
yeah.
right now I'm not available. I'm used to doing so much for all my friends, and doing a lot of like I'm baking a lot, so I was doing all the birthday cakes, and I was always bringing stuff every time we were doing a dinner and hosting a lot of dinners and stuff, and I kind of stopped because I didn't have the time. And people were fine, like, my friends were fine with it, but yeah, I did have, I think, when I saw change was when I said, like, I'm taking over the company. Some people were a bit weird about it,
Mm.
and just
Is
left. Like, if doing something like that wasn't good somehow, and I was like, I don't. Why are you not happy
it's
for me? Like,
it's jealousy, I think.
yeah, but I don't know. I don't get it. But it probably is in a way. But I'm like, you could do the same thing if you were doing this. Like, it's why. Like, I don't know. I never really got it. It wasn't that many people, but I did feel it with a few people, and I'm like,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
like,
It must be lonely as well when you were first setting up because it was just you.
yeah. Well, I had two girls working with me,
Oh,
but
okay.
in the team, they went from a company to the other. But yeah, I had two girls with me. I wasn't by myself, but yeah, I was learning, like, how a company works, like what am I supposed to do, how does the admin work,
Yeah.
like how am I doing invoices, like simple stuff like that, or payroll, like how does that work? I have no idea.
Mm.
So I was discovering all those things. It was a bit lonely, but again, I'm quite lucky. Like, as I said, my partner always wanted to have company. He now has his own as well. But he always wanted to have a company. He always to do all those things. So he was really supportive at the time because he was the one having the sponsorship and everything for the visa. So he
Okay.
was stuck in his job, but he was really happy outside of his job to be helping me if I had question, if I had, like, if we had to look into things and all that, if I had to talk about it for hours and complain because I was stressed and I didn't know what I was doing.
Mm.
He was here for me, and then now he has his own company, and there are things I've done that I can tell him, and, like, you know it makes it less lonely. But it's true that being in a small team and a small company and all of that can get a bit lonely because I can talk about everything. And, as much as my team is great, they are not doing the same thing. Like, it's like, it's quite different. So
Mm.
it's and I talk a lot, as you can see. It's not just because it's a podcast, it's just I talk a lot. So I do need to tell people about what's going on, and sometimes I'm like, uh, I
Yeah.
can't. Like, there are some things I actually can't share, or I can't spend my day chatting in the office. Like, that's not efficient, and I'm now the boss, so I'm the one who has to be like, Anne, let's not chat all day because that's not working.
Funny.
Um,
No, that's good. And has anything else happened in your life significant?
what else? I don't know. Move to Australia, having a company. I think that's the two
They're big.
the two big things. That's quite big.
Yeah.
Well, becoming Australian was a big step. Like, it was last year, and that was
Oh,
obviously a big
nice.
step. Like, the end of the journey. I think we became Australian about at the
Around the
same
same
time.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, like a few weeks apart. And that was kind of a big moment.
Yeah.
Finally getting there, finally finishing that process, like all the years and all the processes and the time and the
Yeah.
um, never knowing what's going to happen after. Like that,
It's a
that was
big,
a big.
it's like a big weight lifted off your shoulders when you finally think,
Exactly,
yeah,
exactly.
I'm part of this now. I'm part of this country. It's cool.
Yeah, yeah, and I definitely want to stay here. So it felt really good to know that, I wasn't doing it being like, oh, it's good to have a second citizenship, but I'm not sure what I'm gonna do. It's like, no, no, I know I want to stay here. So
This
now
is home.
yeah, it's fully home. Like, I'm not going back. There is no reason why I would go back now.
Yeah.
Like, it
Nice.
was good.
It's a long process.
It is
um,
it is a process.
and now, like in your adult life, do you feel like you've changed a lot from the child that you were to who you are now?
Yeah, definitely. I changed a lot. I was I was always driven. I was always organized. I was always all those things. But I only knew a certain type of people. I always knew a bit of like everything was like all the things that were around me, but that was it. And then I discovered so much, so I opened myself to so much more things when I traveled. Um, I'm um, I'm still driven, but driven in a different way. I'm not um, I'm not like thinking there is one journey and that's what I want to do. I'm kind of open to different opportunity when they arise, which wasn't really a thing when I was younger. Um, I think that's one of the main thing. I'm less shy. I was a really shy kid. I couldn't.
Mm.
I was. Yeah, that it changed. But I was really really shy. I couldn't talk to anyone. I couldn't call. I couldn't. Like I loved being in my books and reading and having my few friends and doing things. But like just I was really shy. Like doing a presentation was a nightmare for me. All the things like all you can imagine about a shy kid. I was like the shyest one ever. Like I wouldn't talk to anyone. I grew up, clearly changed a lot.
Yeah.
I can talk for hours. I went on. I did a little TV segment back in France, like here, filmed here about like food expat. Yeah, how expat deal with the food and how do they bring their culture and all of that. So that was shown in France. So my parents saw it. I didn't even know it was going to be live. And overnight, like I woke up and I had messages from my parents being like, "We saw you on TV." And I was like,
Oh,
"Oh,
no way.
I filmed that like a year ago and I wanted to surprise you." Well, cool. But they showed it to all their friends, obviously, and they sent it to everyone. Like my dad did like emails to all the people he knows, being like, "Look at my daughter, she's on TV."
Ah,
And yeah, they are really proud.
nice.
They don't really understand fully what I say, but what I do. But they are really happy and proud of what I do, whatever that
Yeah.
is, which is really sweet. But so my dad sent that to everyone, and then the feedback we had, like the emails he got back and sent back to me from his friends were like, "She's so different from the really shy kid that we used to know." Like she grew up, she like blossomed, she's like a different person, like she's
Ah,
really open and she loves talking to everyone. That was quite funny to see him. So because my dad obviously being a poet and all of that has a lot of friends that does the same thing, so really well written emails about like how I grew up and
of
it was really
course.
nice to see me and all of that, so that was really
That's
sweet.
nice. What do you
Yeah.
think changed? What made you kind of open up and be more, I guess, or less shy?
I think business school made
Okay.
me, because I had a really really great teacher in my masters. I was studying luxury management, and that teacher was the teacher of luxury marketing and something else, and all the different presentation we had to do with him were made to made us come out of our shells. So we had to do them like dressing up. So one was about um a period in time. So we had like that was during the first year, so that was easier. We just had to dress up, but like in costume from that period of time, and then present something about a product that we were creating. So that
Mm,
was the easy step. But then in the last year, we had to do a musical to present a
okay.
project. That made me come out of my shell. I think that's the goal. That's why he does it. It's to be like, okay, now you'll be able to do so many things if you're able to do that. And I think that helped a lot. That was the first step for me to be less shy because I wanted to graduate. I wanted to have good grades. I was really driven on that part, so I had to do it. Like I had to do good on the musical. I had to sing. I had
Yeah.
to dance. I had to dress up. All of that to be able to get my grade in marketing, in luxury marketing. Go figure how that works. But anyway, that was a good first step. And then I came to Australia, and I arrived here thinking I didn't speak English, but I actually did because I understood everything. I could write, but like speaking, because I was shy, like speaking, like, I was just like, I can't. And in France, I didn't have to.
Yeah.
All the time, I had to use English when I was emailing people, and I could write. So I arrived here being like, I can't speak English, and then I actually could. Which all the French people I met when I arrived who actually didn't speak English were like, "Ah, so now you are talking to everyone." So they were
Ah,
pushing me all the time we were arriving somewhere. They were like pushing me and being like, "You are talking," and I'm like, "No." So that helped as well with the shyness, like
yeah. That's
because I
hard
had to
because
talk
you
to
just
everyone.
yeah, because you worry about like, am I going to say the wrong thing, or am I going to upset or offend someone? Am I saying it right? There's so many
Am
things
I
in your
saying the
head.
right thing? Am I clear? Is my accent okay? Are they understanding me? Am I actually speaking English? Like, I'm like,
Yeah.
I think I can, but I'm surrounded by people who actually don't. So, is that clear? But Australia is really great for that because everyone is so nice. Like,
Yeah.
whatever your level is, people are really nice about it.
Yeah.
So,
For sure.
that was really good. But yeah, when I arrived, I was like, hey, I need to talk. Like, but that was really good to make me more confident and lose that shy side of me because like I had to. And
Yeah.
it wasn't just speaking to people, it was speaking to people in a different language that wasn't my native language and like try
Yeah.
and then and now I'm talking to everyone and
No, that's nice. Good.
yeah, and I'm doing
So
podcasts.
yeah, there you go. Doing an English podcast.
Yeah.
Um, so moving on to present day, like the person you are now, are you happy with the person that you are?
Yeah, I think so. I'm still
Yeah.
learning. Like,
Yeah.
I'm still growing. I don't think you ever stop growing, but I'm still learning things, but I'm quite happy with where I am. I
Yeah.
think, yeah, I think, I think I'm doing good. I'm happy with where I'm going anyway. I
Good.
can look at myself in the mirror and be like, okay, I'm not doing anything wrong, so that's good.
Nice. Are you scared of anything?
I'm scared of a lot of things. I'm scared, naturally scared of so many things. I'm scared about like what's going to happen with the company. It's still small. Like I still need to grow it. So am I doing the right things? Am I going the right way? I don't know. Is that going to work? Is that not going to work? What am I doing? So yeah, I'm scared. Like I think everyone, like no one having any sort of responsibility, I think, will be scared of something. Um, Whether like someone having a business saying they're not scared of anything, I think they're lying because that would
Yeah.
be like it's not possible. I'm more scared than average, but I think anyone would be a bit scared. And then there is all the other things, like everything in life. You always second guess if you are making the right decisions. Every time I remind myself that like I must be doing something right because things are working out. When I talk to my clients who are like the sweetest people in the world and are always like, oh, it's so great to work with you, or giving me great feedback on all of that. Or when I'm seeing what other people I know are having from people supposed to do the same thing as me and clearly not, I'm like, okay, I must be doing something right somewhere. So I'm trying to remind myself that all the time and be like, okay, at some point it's going to all work out. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's scary.
Yeah. Do you feel misunderstood in any way?
Um, I don't think I'd say misunderstood because as I said, I talk so much. I think I give the idea like I people know what I think. I'm quite open as a person. I don't hide a lot,
Yeah.
but I think there are some things that are a bit hard to say and to give that message without sounding fake, especially in that day and age. Like you open social media or you talk to someone about marketing it being something so wide. And so, like, everyone is kind of trying to do it, whether they know how to do it or not. Um, I think it's kind of hard to arrive and say, like, if I'm doing it, it's because I really care about the person I work with. And I really want to be able to help as much as I possibly can, and I really will take things like personally. Like I'm not gonna um, work with you and just be like you are one number in the middle of all of the other numbers. Like you are not one client from all the other ones. You like I actually build relationship with everyone, but like saying that it always sounds fake in a way.
Mm.
So it's not being misunderstood, but it's just about like trying to actually prove something that I know I'm doing.
Yeah.
but like everyone says it, even if it's true, if it's not true, like everyone will say it. So it's a bit of a learning curve with that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, fair enough. It's hard, like you said, it's especially with AI now, like there's a lot of the stuff is just bullshit. It's just
yeah,
rubbish. People and
yeah,
I feel like it's getting easier and easier to see when people are being fake. But then when you do see something genuine, you're then skeptical. You're like, oh, I don't know, does that sound too good to be true? Or
exactly. And I get it because I would be the first one to be this, like, to doubt it the other way around. Like, you
mm,
never know how people are, and people are always telling you what you want to hear in a way.
yeah,
Um, I'm like, I'm really like that. I'm really trying. Like, ask any of the people I work with. I'm like, I, I really like that.
yeah,
But it's always the it does sound fake because so many people say it at some point. Like, and
yeah,
I'm talking about connection with people, but it's not only that. Like, there is so many things when you say it, and you're like, oh, I sound so fake. I believe what I'm saying, but it doesn't seem right. But then it's true. Like how? So it's not like really being misunderstood, if that makes sense. But it's really finding, like, I think
your authentic
that's one of
self.
the things that I'm finding kind of hard to manage, and I'm learning. It's a learning curve with that, like with everything else. It's like to actually tell the truth, but find the right way of saying it so it doesn't come off as just a sales speech, if that makes
Mm,
sense. Like, it's not
yeah,
because I'm talking to someone that I want to sell something. I just a lot of people I just want to talk to them.
yeah,
I love hearing stories from other people like you. Like I love talking to people.
yeah. No, me too. um,
Really.
if you could speak to yourself, like your past self as a child, what message would you give to yourself?
I think it would be about being more confident. I would tell my past self to just be confident in what she does, what I do,
Mm,
because that again, with the clients I have and the people I know and everything, I have a lot of people around me that helps me with being more confident, but it's hard. But then I'm seeing what other people are doing, and they are saying it with a lot more confidence than I do, and then it works out for them. So I think mm, a lot of people who are doing things they don't know and they learn and they seem confident and then they figure it out. I have a tendency to figure it out and then be able to say it. But then if someone asks me, I'll be like, let me double check, and then I'll actually spend so much time working on it and learning about it. I'll know. But I
mm,
think one of the things I'm learning is that it should be the other way. Like it's not it should be, but I should have the confidence to say, yeah, I'll know what I'm talking about. Like we'll talk about it in a few weeks, and then I'll know by then. Not be like,
yeah,
let me figure it out. So yeah, I
yeah,
think I would clearly talk about confidence.
yeah. Is there anything that you wish for in life that you don't have?
I mean, I'm pretty happy with where I am, but yeah, I would love to have a company that's a bit bigger and a bit safer. Again, we're on that safety thing, but I would love to grow a bit more. I think in my personal life, I'm pretty good.
Yeah.
Like, I
What
don't
do you
have
do?
much.
What's your personal life like?
I mean, I my whole life, I think, is about food. It's
Yeah.
about my friends. It's about my partner. I bake a lot. I cook a lot. I love having people over. Um, I have a great group of friends here. I have great friends back in France. I have everything I could ask for, really. I talked about him before, but I have my partner who supports me. Um, we have a great life, like in terms of personal life. We have nothing to complain about. We can travel, even if because I'm French, I have to complain a little bit. I'm complaining about going back to France, but I'm still traveling, going to France, seeing people, doing a lot of things. So, like, my personal life is good. Like, I can't really complain about anything. Like, or if I complain, it's just because I have to, but it's nothing serious. Like, no other like no proper problems. Um, and so I think my big focus at the moment is really like Bistrot Media, growing it, um, getting a bit more confidence on that as well. But like, yeah, growing it, increasing the number of people in my team, being able to step a bit of a step back sometimes, and like, um, being able to relax a bit more and have a bit more of a good work-life balance in general.
Yeah, nice. And what would you say your values are?
Um, that's a good question. I think honesty first. Like, I'm quite open and honest, and I'm hoping for other people to be. Um, Obviously, hard work, because I do think you can do anything through work. So that's clearly a value of mine. I couldn't do nothing, even if I had the choice. I don't think I could do nothing and just stay home. And even if I'm saying it all the time, I'm like, oh my god, I want to do nothing. It's not actually true. I could work for a week, and after a week, I would be done. Yeah, honesty, hard work. Um, there's probably so many other ones that I don't have right now. But yeah, I think
Great.
that's the two that I'm thinking about, like on the spot.
Nice. Awesome. Well, yeah, that's everything. I was keen on finding out to you, and yeah, super interesting background. I love the fact um, that you have just jumped in at the deep end, but you seem like you just have a really kind of really positive and good mindset about it. Like, well, there's something else might happen. You never know, and I think that in itself is a really useful tool to have because people like to blame other people and use excuses where you kind of see it as like, oh well, that's an opportunity learned and we'll move on to the next one. So
I see. Yeah, I do think having a good mindset helps. I'm not perfect. I'm still learning. There are days where I'm not that positive, but overall, I do think
overall,
a good mindset helps
do you read?
a lot. I love
Yeah,
reading, but
really?
I
What kind
do
of?
read nothing too smart in general.
Okay,
Like, I just want to relax when I read. My partner loves reading like a lot of books. He reads about investments and marketing and business and self development and all of that. And I'm like,
nice.
I'm doing that all day. I can't. Like, when I read, I want to think about nothing. I always read, like, my parents reads a lot. There was thousands of books at home. My dad still has a room in Nigeria that's full of books on top of all the books that we have at home. So
Wow.
reading has always been a thing.
Yeah,
We all have different books. Both my parents read different things, and I read different things. But I always read reading, but more in relaxing way and an escape in a like, I want to escape in another world and think about something else
you're
more
into
than
dragons, I can tell.
I love Harry Potter. Like, and I can't say it the right way. I can say it in French, Harry Potter, not the British accent. I'm sorry, but I love
Harry
it.
Potter.
Yeah. Well, you say it right. I don't, but I know.
I don't say it like that either, I don't think. I know that's cool. Yeah, that's cool. We'll have to after this. I'm sure I have some books I can recommend too because I've
Oh
become
yeah,
a
love
book
that.
nerd as well. But no, thank you for sharing your story and definitely your adventure to move the other side of the world. It's like I said, it's not easy at all. It's a challenge and
Yeah.
as I mentioned earlier, you've definitely got the right mindset. So yeah, I know your business will be fine and the growth will definitely happen. And I look forward to staying in touch and hearing about all the success you have over the years.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me and for, letting me tell you about all those
It's
things.
enjoyable. Thanks a lot.